Okay, hi. I'm late. I'm late because I had a hydro outage, and you know that sucked. So sorry about that, everybody. Okay. Anyhow, so today I've got Gary yesterday, and I'm gonna get that cracking in a second. I got to turn everything on again. It's a little bit aggravating. I try to come on consistently Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock for people, and you get into that routine and that rhythm, and when it gets thrown off like that, it makes you like a grumpy baby. Gaga Guga. So, all right, I'm pulling up yesterday's image now, and there it is. So yesterday's page was me trying to give the old online digital drawing a shot. Jim Luan has suggested, hey, what would it take for me to stop doing all this mixed media nonsense and just focus on doing some digital stuff for a year? And that has had me perplexed ever since, because it's something that, honestly, I don't think I gave too much consideration about. I'll do some digital work, but I haven't really overly invested in it. So it's something I need to maybe thinky. So yesterday's page was, it's called Hats Off to Molly Shannon. Molly Shannon was a comedian, is a comedian still. She's a very funny woman. She's in all kinds of things. But she does a lot of acting roles, traditional acting roles in comedies today. But she used to be a zany gal on SNL, and she had some really brilliant characters like Catherine something or other, where when I get nervous, I stick my fingers up under my armpits and I smell them, and she'd do weird stuff like that. So I just thought that character was a riot. But this character that she did here is her Sally O'Malley character, and Sally O'Malley is one of those zany characters that she has that she's just over the top and awkward and does some pretty uncomfortable things for the people around her. So I just thought, let's do a page of her there. Anyways, let's get cracking. So here is the statement of the day, as I usually do. If you've got a one-page comic idea that you can put down in 1 or 2 sentences, let me know. Either put it in the chat or put it in the comments after the video is over, or in any of my Instagram or Facebook posts. We'll get to that. All right. So sorry again that I'm late. The hydro went down on my whole street because they're upgrading all the hydro lines and stuff. There's all this stuff happening on my street this year. We got new fiber optics, which is why my internet has improved. We got new hydro coming to the house, so I don't know what that means. My toaster will work faster. We've got sewage stuff hadn't happened in the neighborhood. They put sidewalks in on all of our side streets. It's kind of nice, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it would be just as nice if they let me know they were going to do it, so I could plan maybe to do the stream later and let everybody know instead of not doing it on time and having my neuroses kick in. So getting over it. Deep breaths, Chris. Just relax. It's going to be fine. I'm not that intense. Anywho, Corbin's made his way into the studio because he hears me jibber-jabbering to nobody else. So we're going to get crack-a-lacking. I cleaned the studio today. I cleaned the house. I've taken out all the recycling, broke down all those cardboard boxes that gather up in your house, got all those broken down and put out in recycling through the whole house, no less. Like, could you put a couple over here and you put a couple in that cupboard? I'll get to it later. All of it. Happy Valentine's Day, Lori. That's not a Valentine's gift. We're going to go see a comedy show in a couple months. We bought those tickets because we're very excited for it. Okay. Today's one-page comic suggestion is on the screen on top of yesterday's piece. It is an ancient Sumerian showing off his newfangled bronze ruler and being called a cheater by a crowd of Sumerian artists. This is me paraphrasing a little bit what Gary had typed me because I remembered what it was. I just couldn't remember where I put my specific note, because that's a Christopher thing to do. So that's what we're going to be cracking on today. If Gary is following the stream at all right now, let me know if you want me to do it or anybody else wants to chime in, let me know if you want me to do it digital or traditional, because I'm happy to do either one today. I'm going to give, maybe I'll start doing a little more of that digital stuff, because I can't just keep doing all the traditional. I try to do all these different mediums because I want to stay, I don't want to lose that. You know what I mean? You don't want to lose that muscle memory. And it's one thing to really just hyper focus on, I could draw a pencil. That's great. But unless people are specifically looking for somebody who draws in pencil, you're kind of limiting yourself. And you're especially limiting yourself in all the forays and exploration into the different things that we can use and the different things that we can express ourselves with. But I completely respect if you do just want to draw in pencil, or you do just want to ink drawings, or you do just want to do traditional pencil and inks. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a strange person. I have the sun because I didn't have a teddy bear when I was a child. I don't know why. Okay, so here's yesterday's page. What's your name, doll? The name is Sally O'Malley. You really need to just, I'm not reading this. You really need to just go look up Sally O'Malley on the YouTube and catch some of Molly Shannon's bits, because she really is geniusly funny. And it's always great to see whoever's with her in whatever scene and how awkward it is for them. Okay, so the standard thing that I do when I'm going to start a new page in the computer is that I'll take my rectangular tool here and I'll highlight the entire base layer. I'll copy it and then I hit new. So now I know that the new page that comes up is the exact same size. It's the exact same ratios as every other page that I'm doing for that specific project. And I'll try to do that on whatever the project is. If it's in portrait format, if it's in landscape format, which is what this is, portraits up, bottom to top. This is side to side, right? That's horizontal to vertical confuses some people. So I know that for a fact that the 1/2 inch spacing that I put to the standard page, I try to, I'm going to highlight it so that anybody that's looking at this can see. I try to maintain the integrity of all of the pages that I do stay within this border structure. Some will bleed out to the outside edge, yes. But generally, most of the pages will stay to this bordered structure. And so I can sit down and put in a line system if that makes it easier for people. And then the secondary border that I'll put in will be at the 1 inch ratio. Corbin has decided that now is the time to climb on me. What a ridiculous animal. I think my guide is off. No, it's me that's off. I'm crooked, folks. Today's music is Audio Slave. So far. I'll switch it up in a minute. I was listening to Arctic Monkeys and really enjoying that. I just gotta wait for a second. I know that I missed. Okay, so there we go. That's rough and sloppy. My line is over a tiny bit here. So I'll just bump them over to where it should be. Get over there. Perfecto. Okay, so yeah, so this is the sort of frame structure that I've been keeping all of the one-page comics within. So each of those pages, you can see, has that similar structure. When I pop in and out of that image, these two lines on the side, the black line and the red line, it carries over to the next page. And the reason that I'm doing stuff like that is so that as all of these pages come up and as all of these projects get finished, there's a sort of a universal guideline to them, so that, you know, when the book goes into publication, everything has, even though it's completely divorced from itself from page to page to page, the underlying structure is always going to be there. Yep, that's the idea, folks. All right, so yep, I'm going to get cracking in. Well, why don't we get Corbin, get up from underfoot. Where are you? Get on your spot. Leave me alone. Okay. I'm going to kick up the lights for a second. Sorry, I got a block. I don't want to flare up my light. There we go. Okay. So I got a bunch of different pieces of paper we can use. What I thought I'd do for this page is that I was going to have some fun with, I've got a couple different things that I can use. Now, in my going through the house and cleaning, I've managed to drum up some standard, really rough, manila packing paper, which is always nice. And I've also located some tissue paper. Now, there's some fun things that you can do with both of those things. Like I don't know if anybody's ever laid down tissue paper on a drawing and just laid it over top of your image, an existing image, or laid it down and then specifically drew an image on top of that. Because what it does is it gives you all these beautiful textures in there, and it allows you to see all kinds of information that if you lay over it with like a watercolor wash or something like that, you're going to get these beautiful little textures. Let me see if I've got, no. I'm trying to see if I've got an example to show. And I've got one in black and white, and it's kind of lame, but I'm going to show it to you. This is a page called, there we go. Okay, so this page is called Airplane. It's from one of my books. I did a series of alphabeteries, and what an alphabetery is a thing that monks use to teach people how to read in the Middle Ages, like A is for apple, B is for boy, and so on and so forth. And so I've done three 24-page books worth of letter pages based on the starting letter. And so this is Airplane, just to give you a context of what the heck this is. But so each one is its own narrative. Airplane is just a silly thing to say about memory, but at the same time, one of the explorations that I did within it was to lay this tissue paper down in the surface. I'm going to pull it in just a little closer so that I don't know what the size of device people are using, but this way you see this crazy texture that's down here on the surface, and there's modulations and movements in that surface. So if you lightly go over it with like a pencil crayon or a graphite, suddenly you get this fantastic, free. It's free for you. It's effortless because it's just in how the papers adhere to the other one. And because tissue paper never works the way you would think glue paper down to paper, nice and flat. Nope, tissue paper says I'm doing my own thing. And so when we rub over it, we get all these wonderful little things. It's great for if you're using your image to do landscapes. It's great for like if the base of your image is to be a landscape approach to or map making or something like that. You can put this down and automatically get terrain. So it's kind of fun. And the same thing happens when you use like a manila paper like this. The difference of this paper as opposed to a tissue paper though is that tissue paper you can see through. This one you clearly cannot. However, if I'm going to do a thing that involves Sumerian characters and Sumerian stuff, what I thought, one of the ideas I had was, well, what if I do some drawing on this paper? Then it's got that faded, aged look, similar to the clay tablets. It's the only reason we know anything about their culture. So that was my idea. Anyways. So, we're going to explore that. Yeah, that's about it. If anybody has a preference that rather than using these silly pieces of paper, I can go into digital, just let me know. Good afternoon, Jim. Jim's popped in. Hi, buddy. How you doing? Digital or traditional, Jim? I'm putting a vote. Yeah. So, yeah, again, I apologize about being late today, everybody. It's, I walked outside with my recycling 20 minutes before I was supposed to stream. I'm all ready to go to see two dudes standing on my roof and two other dudes standing on the house exactly beside mine, and wondering what the heck's going on. I go in the house just as my hydro shuts off. Like I stepped in the doorway and then pow, no hydro. These guys are replacing my hydro, hook up from the street. So, but nobody told Chris. So there we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do I'll try this paper if you want, or I can go on the white and then we can do a traditional, or we can do a tissue paper overlay. Why don't we do that? That's more fun. This is an effect that you can get just with a filter. Please make Gary Hodges a Sumerian. Okay. You talked me into it. There we go. Easily. You easily talked me into that. So, yeah, I'm going to have to look up a picture of Gary. I have an image of Gary on my computer somewhere from when I had Gary on the show here. And, but in order to promote his appearance on the stream, but I don't know what file I have that on. So your ears should be on fire, Gary, on fire. I don't want to spoil it, Gary. It's happening. Okay, so yeah, so here's Gary's. Just looking for a picture of Mr. Hodges. There's another Gary Hodges that does art. Well, we're going to have to find him. Get him to give his name back. Give it back. Okay. All right, I'm going to pull up the image over here. Anyways, yeah, so you messaged me a pic from Facebook. Deal. See, that's how you do it. If you can find out somebody's going to draw you, send them a picture that you'd like to have drawn. That's the massive secret there. That's how you plan it. There we go. Everything's slow working because I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the maniacs outside, but. Oh, that's a romantic picture. If my damn thing could work. All right, I got a picture of Gary. Okay, so here we go. It's this and this. Oh, no, it's this and this. Hold on, I'm trying to. Yeah, buddy. All right. We're good. Okay, so if there's. It's one of the few without a cap. I'm just pulling up the image now of Gary. Something's making noises. That's me. All All right. So yeah, anyways, I hope everybody's having a good day. Sorry for the late start. I'll go later because of it, but what an aggravating. It's one of those things where, you just you hope for things to work out a little bit better, but there we go. I got Gary. Here we go. Okay, so the idea that I'd had was to sit down and have our principal characters. So because the idea that for this page is, hold on, where's my note page that I've been scribbling every conceivable page on? Okay, so the idea with this one is it's my thought was just a couple of things, because I've been plugging away on other things which I'm terrified I've lost, and I can't even check to see if I've lost some of the stuff I was working on when the hydro went down, because I'm not ready for that yet. I'll check afterwards, get back into it. So the idea is for our principal guy, Gary, to be holding a ruler up, and here's our ruler. So there's images out there for a lot of these statues of different Sumerian representations that are sort of, this is the only thing we know about their culture is from the materials that they've left behind, of course. And so all of these little small statues is essentially the way I'm going to approach drawing everybody for this page, because I just think it's funny that this cross, I don't know if you can see it, but they have their arms crossed in this fashion on all these statues, sort of this precious way of holding whatever the items are. So, and of course, everybody's got a beard. So this is how I'm going to have Gary holding his ruler, and subsequently the audience or the crowd that believe he's cheating because he's using this thing. So the page is going to incorporate crowd of cheating, that believe he's cheating. There's a guy with ruler. And then I want to get some plumb lines in here. Anybody not know what a plumb line is? A plumb line is it's a great way to measure that things are going up and down. Things are properly moving in a vertical line, and it's just a piece of string, and it has a weight at the bottom. And what you can do is you can let that stand, and as soon as it sits and holds still, then you've got a straight line down to the ground. It's a proper vertical line. And then you can also measure things with a plumb line, pull the string across that, and the plumb line itself should have chalk inside of it, if it's a decent one. And you can put that line across whatever it is that you're doing your measurement on, snap it, and make that line. So people have used those for a long time for stonemasons and the like. So that's why I'm going to have these guys all being of the plumb line crowd and thinking that he's a cheater. And then I want to incorporate one of the big Sphinx guys in there. I'm going to play with a lot of this mythical imagery that is left over to us from Sumerian culture. And so, because I think the contraposition of the whole thing is that he's got a ruler. It's, here's, because we know for a fact that, we started seeing standardization of measurement back with this culture because it's represented throughout a lot of their materials. So him having a bronze ruler, I think it's a bronze ruler, and having it be considered cheating in such an ornate and mythical, imaginary sort of environment, and this mythological way of interpreting things. The other thing I have to do, the last part that I think, so I've got the magical creatures are going to have to go in here, and then there's got to be that disproportionate sizing. So, and if you look at old Sumerian carvings and old Sumerian wall reliefs, as we don't really know, but as far as we understand, the nobility and the kings and the larger societal characters, the mythical heroes as represented and so forth, are always twice the size of everybody else. And So I got to get a little bit of that action in there, in addition to headdress and cultural clothing. And anybody that is going to claim cultural appropriation, well, buckle up. You're not Sumerian. Well, my culture comes from Samaria. Well, but it's not Samaria. So we take great leaps across the board societally with, you're appropriating my Greek Platonic culture because of you're in your Atlantis beliefs. I don't know. Trojans get mad at everybody that carves a horse. So that's the idea. That's the notion on the page, is that I want to incorporate these different elements, and everybody's going to be chiding our principal character because of his ruler, because it doesn't fit into their mythical landscape. So that's the theory. That's the principle. I try to find a root idea whenever I'm doing pages. And so that's the root notion I have for this one. Yeah. Again, thank you, Gary, for sending that image my way. Yeah, the size of that pencil. That's as old as Sumerian pyramids. Okay, so I'm gonna just blow that image up for myself a little bit, just so I can get that's what the top of Gary's head looks like. Yeah. I've always got something on the top of my head too, so I completely get that. One more thing to do. Yes. Just a minute, I'll do it. Just hold on. Can you get your mom in the sun? There we go. Okay, there you go. Huh? Out of your system? Good. Jesus, that's ridiculous. All right. I've got my my magic glove on because I was clearly working on the computer before everything happened. I don't need that. I'm continuing on. We realized that my wife and I were counting, and I'm not saying this to be that guy. I'm just saying. I was talking to my wife last night about the amount of. I'm in a flow. I'm in a Zen space right now with working, and I'm really dialed into just getting some stuff done on a regular basis. And so I'm juggling my day right now with, whoops, I'm not in camera. I apologize. I'm working and I'm not even in camera at the moment. So I'm juggling my day right now with trying to get some different projects done simultaneously. And because this is my time to make a push and to get something coming out of it. Because I'm able to, be home and do this at the moment. So some of these things that I'm doing to keep the lights on, usually, is part of my day. And then I've got a block of time for doing my own books that I'm formatting together, 2 of them right now, that I've got stuff done and haven't been able to do anything with. And then I've got my block of time for coming in here and doing the one-page stuff with suggestions and engagement with others, and then I follow that up with my household responsibilities for such as the way of the house husband, and immediately after that, family time, family stuff, and then after everybody has retired for the night, which is largely just my wife and I anyway, because the kids are all grown up, back to work. So it's a long day, but those breaks in those different directions throughout the course of the day is what helps me to feel fresh and engaged in the different things that I'm doing simultaneously. We got to find whatever rhythm that we can find in order to get whatever it is that we're working on to happen. we've got to find that direction that allows us to. Pretty far away from the image. Why don't I? Can I move this down? No, it's pretty much stuck there. Well, I'll do my best here. Where is he? Corbin's under my feet. So I have to take some license with Gary's picture here because I have to put Gary in traditional Sumerian garb. I'm trying to have a lighter touch to the pencil. I want the grays in the pencil to stand so that I'm going to throw some inks in certain places, and then I'm going to throw some gold in as well, or bronze in order to emulate that kind of mineral-based culture that I don't want to make you jealous or anything, Jim, but Gary sent me a romantic picture of him in a hotel room. Jim's like, ha, I took that picture. Okay. I thought my thing was turning off. So I got another piece of paper down here to keep. I want to keep my page that I'm working on nice and flat. All right. So, is there anything that anybody that's tuned in today is working on that they want to talk about? And I hope I put an announcement up yesterday. I'm going to do it again for today. But if anybody has a copy of, and Jim, if you're still here, if you can remind me the specific what it's called. We're looking for anybody that has an old copy of an art program, because one of our animator friends, Jim Luan, who's tunes in here, has to replace his, and rather than having the expense as an independent animator artist to have to pay for that monthly subscription nonsense and not having a workplace that pays for him, if we can figure out a way to save him that by getting him an old copy of the program, that'd be great. I don't know if Gary actually has a scalp. Rumor is that his hat keeps him cybernetically connected to the mainframe. I have a lot of time. I have a lot of good fun times working with traditional medium. But I got to admit, yesterday, I really enjoyed working digitally. It was kind of nice. But, oh, hey, excellent. Oh, fantastic. Jim's animation technology problem, software problem is solved. I'm glad, because I'm looking forward to you doing new things and more things. I like the things you've done. I want to see more. Good to work. Trying not to do too much dark emphasis, and it's causing me problems for making sure I capture the personality of Gary, but at the same time, I don't want to do a lot of heavy pencil work here because I want to be able to do that with the inks. So I'm setting myself up with a standard that's challenging myself. Whiplash. I'm getting whiplash now. I've got to take the glasses out too. My intention with the text for this page is to do it in a, like a professor of archaeology is giving some kind of lecture. I believe it was Archaeopolis of the city of Ur that just recorded to be the first person to have presented the gold and bronze ruler into the public forum. I love listening to a lot of those talks myself personally, and I want to frame it in that structure as though it's a college presentation. So there's probably going to be a little bit of manipulation, because ideally that should have been the first image, was your bookwormy glasses guy leaning on a podium with a microphone in his face. Poorly lit room or a slide machine that doesn't work. That generally happens in all these fantastic, the Armstrong Center presents, and the slide machine doesn't work immediately as soon as they get started. It's the best. I'm going to do that thing as I'm drawing Gary. I'll be smiling. It's that thing where, as you're drawing somebody who has a smile on their face, you can't not help but that sympathetic magic kicking in, and you start smiling. It's just some drawing Gary. Come on. It's tricky because I got to frame his face according to the structure of the Sumerian. Now, do their ears ever stick out? Yeah, they do. That's okay. We got it. Okay, so I'm pulling up an image of a Sumerian statue at this point. I've been going out of my way. This is a random thing I'm going to talk about for a moment. So everybody that's watching, please bear with me. I am terrible at keeping my nails. I tend, when I'm stressed, I'll pull them off. Like I'll tuck at them until I peel them back. I have managed to grow my nails back. I have officially stopped destroying my nails at this point. It was less an anxiety thing and more of a habitual thing. And I have managed to stop doing it. I think we can overcome our habits. And this isn't podium preaching, but it takes a lot of effort, but it's doable. I smoked for 27 years. And once you find that whatever your motivation need be, we could generally stop doing things, right? My motivation for quitting smoking was my wife telling me that it was yucky. You know, and these are our wives because, you know, there's something about them that we likes. So, all right. Ideally, now this is another habit thing. When I was back in art school, as I would sit down and I'd be drawing with graphite or whatever, I generally hit it with working fix every now and then because I am what we called in the old country a smudger. Oh boy, will I smudge. So I'm going to do my best. But I've got to give Gary his Sumerian helmet. And so I'm going to come in and do some highlights with the black, the black line art into the graphite. In order to sort of keep this structured motif working. I have to admit, when you look at some of the old statues from ancient cultures of the past, and you look at some of the, you know, the headwear or the garish costuming, and then when you see close representations to it, that, you know, that archaeologists and artists that they work with have come up with what, you know, Aztec outfits were or Sumerian outfits were. They look like a bunch of goons. Like some of it is just, it's clearly all pomp and ceremony, but I think this is a good look on Gary. I'm not saying it's because he's pompous, I'm saying that this is a nice headgear he's got on here. So if I were to color this page, it would be doing my best to try to capture a lot of these earthen colors. So I'm laying it down in pencil first, but I will be coming in a moment to add some values to the face and to the beard and the ornate layering pattern that Sumerians would have in their facial hair. So maybe this, Gary, if you ever considered this sort of a look, maybe this will help you decide whether or not you want to really grow your hair out and put it in weaved patterns. I can't grow a beard, coincidentally. All this talk about beard is bringing up some... I'm triggered. I've triggered myself. I got 2 bald spots right here on my face that don't grow facial hair. You know, then you can overcome that if you just shave it. Yeah, nope, not interested. I never shaved until I was 27 years old. The longer I can hold that off, the better. Well, now I got to shave regularly, but you know what I mean. You got to figure headgear like this and having a beard growing out like this, it's sort of like a similar thing to like the Rastafari kids with their dreadlocks that they can't wash, or, you know, because it's all held together with honeys or whatever other nonsense. I don't know if that's a thing for all Rastafari or just Caucasian rich kids in a city like London. You know, heavy Rastafari movement here. So now I've got to get his hair from the back. So this is where it takes a little logic leap, because Gary has natural wavy hair, whereas this is going to be highly curly hair in order to do the ornate nonsense with it that this culture would do. But at least we'll get some of it going here. So I've just got to get this costume down correctly. And I'm looking at old stone statues. Hold on, I'll move it into the... This is me looking at old stone statues in order to try to figure out what Sumerians wear. So that very revealing, but it looks like a lot of ornate weaved patterns. Okay, so I'm going to move this page off of here. Just give me a second. So this is that's a nice heavier grade cardstock that I'm using. It works for the task at hand. All right. So I draw blocky fingers when I'm working out my fingers as I'm putting together a composition. So the fingers tend to be less. I don't build it up as structures, but I get the structure. Hot dog fingers, I think is what I've heard it called over the years. Is that fingers look roughly like hot dogs as you're assembling them together. And bonus points if anybody can tell me what bass chord I just put Gary's fingers in. There you go. There you go. That's a good one. So I think that I'm going to put the shape of the ruler up, but I'm not going to actually. It's the best joke I've ever heard. The best joke all day. There's no other joke better than it. You're good at it. You keep doing that. Is that allowed? Have I crossed a line? Not being an American and doing a Trump impression? You know what? It doesn't matter. Canada's going to be a part of the United States eventually, anyways. Gotta get a whole bunch of jangly jewelry around his wrist now. So one of the things I want to try. It's a great joke. It's a great joke. It's the best joke ever told. Oh, there you go. You got the best joke in there too. Excellent, Gary. Excellent. You know who can't tell a joke? Joe Biden can't tell a joke. So let's say, hypothetically, that Canada, at some point in the immediate future, joins up with the United States, and it all becomes just, United States of North America and Canada, whatever it's called. I don't know what the country would be called. But can you imagine Canadian-style politicians running against American-style politicians? It's not even going to be a contest. Not even close. Every character in this comic should have Gary's faces, even the women. That's very doable. That's actually very doable. Because if I just take this and do a cutout of Gary's face and put it on literally every character, I could do that. But as it stands right now, Gary's in a toga. So I forgot to put the ruler in. It's only the point of the whole page, Chris. Way to go, guy. Rulers are important. I love my rulers so much. I'm always telling people about go get one of these. If you do comics, go and get one of these rulers that I picked up at Michael's. Seriously. Go and get one of these. That's even the women and the babies. And the babies. Huh? That's doable. If you look at, I can't remember if it's Electro Assassin or it's either Electro Assassin or Daredevil or maybe it's Big Numbers. I can't remember which one of the books it are, but Bill Sienkiewicz did for the presidential character, for the political character that was in the book, he would just photostat that face over and over and over again and put it in there for every time the character appears. So he's always going, it doesn't matter if his body's running this way, he's going, it's just the best. You could do that. Beef up them arms. Gary's beefy arms. So I'm giving him some of this pattern fabrics that they would have these statues wearing. And then I have to have his other hand up like this because that's what you see a lot in these statues. You know, what are these guys doing over here? One of those handshakes. So it's I always say that whatever your first panel is, it should really kind of be, as you're working it out, you should really just sort of let yourself zone into that moment, because that first panel that you're drawing is kind of setting a tone. It's kind of setting a system of understanding about how your page is going to get structured. Like if you're using certain styles of drawing, if you're using certain approaches to character, now all of that is kind of going to get set in that, because it's going to get set in your first panel of a page, or because it's going to get set and sort of locked in to your narrative that way. Just play, just have fun, and get comfortable in the lines that you're putting down, because that's kind of, you're going to be doing a lot more of that style. So if you're not comfortable with it right off the hop, you're going to have a really boring time on whatever it is, the project that you're drawing. So allow yourself that. Corbin, would you cut it out? So I made a mistake last night of putting Corbin's stool directly beside me, literally right beside where I'm sitting, so that he could climb onto my desk. And I've moved it back. He's been unsettled ever since, my studio cat, because well, he's had a taste of being part of the action, and so now he's a nightmare. Because he wants to climb up on here. He's like, oh, let me in there. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of this drawing jazz for you, old man. My intention today, while I was doing this, was to have him, you know, watching cat TV in the other room, so I know he's going to leave me alone. But I forgot to do so. Well, it's not so much that I forgot, it's that the hydro shut everything off, and, you know, I'm trying to get everything back up so I could get going here again. I didn't turn that back on. So there you go. All right, so here's Gary as a Sumerian king. Just going to finish out his fingers here. I considered about having him having broken fingers, but that instead, I think I just got to glam them up. Some jewelry on them suckers. All right. There we go. So I'm gonna bling up his wrists and his fingers, and get them all tooled up here. Now I got to draw on his bare chest. Take it easy, folks. It's about the subtle reveal. The subtle reveal here. Oh, just the slightest intimation of something there. Soften that line up a little bit. Don't want to give it all away. Did I make that more awkward? So my intention right here, after I get this line art roughly put together, see the little hint there, just the little hint. Don't want to be too racy here, folks. So my intention is I'm going to put some emphasis lines with the black ink. Find some shapes inside of here to feel out how the fabric moves about. And if you're going to lay down lines for the clothing of your characters and stuff, think about, this is, here we go with folds. You ready? Think about how the structure of that fabric moves over, let me see, I'll do it like this, moves over top of the surface of an object or a person. So if the fold, if there's a line across here, you got to think of that fabric turning over and into it. I don't know, maybe this is a better way of showing that. So as the fabric moves across the form, which is, would be like this, then the lines have to move in and out of those as well. And they're going to transition over, and they're going to warp, and they're going to bend. And it's those little things that sort of lets us understand and to assist our viewer in understanding how those folds are overlapping. And so how those lines will be moving in and over, bending about in the structure of the fabric as it turns over the body, etc., etc. And that does far better. That break of the line of the in the pattern of the fabric does far more to infer that the movement inside the fabric itself than those lines that people go out of their way to draw, those sharp edged lines to show that there's folds and bends in the fabric. I mean, you can get the structure of that down for sure for yourself, but the real action happens in the folds, folks. Well, you get the gist of it anyhow. So bronze. Bronze. My goodness, it's bronze. The real action happens in the folds. There you go. And you can cut that and clip that into something. The real action happens full folds. I'm a rapper. Okay, so before I get too carried away with that, give me 1 second. So I'm going to take my magic ruler. I want to find an interesting place. Now, if you have when you're drawing lines out, if you've got a shape like this, okay, where you put that line that goes for the framing structure, so there's your lines and your object, okay? And so as you've got this kind of an piece of information, where you place your line here, you don't want to have it at spots where it can look like the continuation of an existing line. Because the problem with that is that it then squishes your background information into your foreground information. So looking through how you've got lines laid out, it sort of informs you want to break it across the lines of the objects so that it looks like it's not a continuation of something else. And so it's a tricky thing to walk through there and to find that spot, that specific spot. But it's important to plan that out, to think that through before you just run your line up here so that it would continue on this line or just feel like an extension of this finger. So something to think about. So the reason I'm setting this now is that I want to sort this out so I can start putting in some of that bronze. And then I'll start laying in some of the black on our character here. Do a little bit highlight. And this sets the tone for how I'm going to illustrate the entire page. So I've gone midpoint in the muscle for that back panel line. Right? Not here, but midpoint in the muscle. It's those weird little things that when you start picking up on those, they change the way the structure of your page will look. Dangling lines, continuing connecting lines. No! But the real action happens in the folds. I would describe this picture of Gary as beefy. So I'm not going to go directly up to the line here because I'm going to do a black edge on here, and I don't know how enabling this paint marker is going to be for a black line to come through over top of it from a standard marker. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of edging there that I can fill in a moment. So now I've never used this pen. If it runs out of ink on me, I got my grandkids to thank for that one. Maybe I just got to shake it up more. So I don't know if that's how well that's picking up in camera, but the whole idea here is to have this strong value difference between the figure himself, and of course I'm going to do the ruler in a bronze as well, but I think I'm going to use a pencil crayon or we'll see. Now, it would be easier to just go in and paint a gold in with, he's using a ruler and a strip about a ruler. Yeah. The circle would be complete if I was a ruler. I could dress as a ruler. All right. It's funny, these paint pens don't normally stink, but the metal ones stink. They stink of that marker stink. Oh, yeah, it's like being in school. Okay. So putting this down was purposeful so that I can give it a second to dry, and then I'll start putting in those black marks. I'll fill in the larger space in a second, but I want to get these highlights around the character. I think I have another one of these, so. It's a fun way to work. It's kind of like doing reliquary work of some kind, you know, where a lot of that religious imagery that's been done over the years where people are using gold leaf for so it's going to get closer to the edge and then off into the inking period. I'll fill in these large voids after. Okay, let's just get to that now. I'm using it's a round tip. It's just a nice brush tip. Yeah. Okay, so I want to do these exterior lines and then very little highlighting inside the figure. Hopefully that looks like Gary. I don't know. Hopefully that's coming through. So I'm just hitting certain spots with the black there, just doing those little enhancements, trying to pull up some of that key information. Keeping that line clean, you know. All right. It's a silly hat. So the outfit that I've got him in is based on these statues, these Sumerian little reliquary statues and wall carvings. Just got him holding up his magic ruler, that's all. Oh. So hopefully this is enough to pull the pattern out from the beard. In the image, so that the gray lines just don't blend one to the next. kind of cartoonish when you do this hard outline, the hard black outline. Winsor McCay used it to really great practical effect, though. And if you have an opportunity to look at The Adventures of Nemo and Slumberland, you'll see all kinds of really great examples of how he could put together all kinds of disparate elements in the same section, because he would do this separation with just a sharp line. I really like these pens, and if you're doing traditional inking, I do recommend giving these guys a shot, because they give you all kinds of. There's two kinds. There's a black one and there's a blue one, but there's something about that black one letting you get all kinds of variety in your line with just pressure, right? Give them lots of jewelry. It's a lot of fun. I got to put all kinds of rings and whatnot, and garish bits and baubles on this guy's hands. Thinking about the shape of the fingers as I put the rings around them, right? All right, so that's coming together pretty good. Magic Boy and his ruler. Give some, if you're doing bracelets and jewelry and whatnot on people, give it some movement around the form. Makes it a little more interesting, right? Add some character to an otherwise bland arm, really. And of course, bend your line as you're doing the inking. Give some little more definition and character to it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to ink this hat and put in some of the textures on it, but there's the idea of it. That's a start anyways. I might do a little bit more fiddling with I gotta shake it. This hat's got teeth. The page I did on the weekend, the teeth page, big smiles. I found that a lot of fun to do. Just, it's nice when you're working on something, and sometimes it really doesn't matter the engagement with the audience if you're feeling that you yourself are getting some kind of return from the project you're working on. Like I'm not looking at it as anything more than, I just think that's fun and silly to have a page about dental advice being given to people by different, vampires throughout film history, and whether or not anybody else really connects to it or not, it's something fun for me. And it's like, sometimes that's really all our work needs to be, is that you're doing it for yourself, or you're doing something that you yourself would appreciate and enjoy. There's definitely somebody out there in that world that's just like you in your own, no matter what your own complicated hot mess is, that gets your sense of humor. And that's where it counts. It's not counting for 14,000 likes. It's not counting for, I think after a certain point, it just becomes hollow, a lot of those likes. And the only ones that really get those are cat videos, or people doing dances, or making some cliche reference or joke. Hey, remember this? Remember Tim the Tool Man? So yeah, there's somebody out there, there's an audience out there looking for that right combination of elements that you have in your book. I'm going to leave this sitting like this for a while to see if that gets some of the ink getting some flow inside. Just leaving it sitting straight up. So either way, that feels like a good first panel approach. Now I'll carry these elements down, but I'm going to have the body move across between the two elbows, or the baseline of the panel move across between the two elbows, and so that sort of gives a connecting design aesthetic by having the bottom and the sides all move out in equal measure, but it also keeps the panel tied together. Because I don't want it bleeding all over the page, right? So I'll clean up those lines after this is dried in a moment. Yes, Philip, I started late because of a hydro outage here. So I'm still here. I'm going to have to get a little piece of cookie in a second, though, because my blood sugar is going low. But I really want to get a little more into this. So I just watched a video by an artist who's very successful at social media, outlining how to grow your audience. You're still chewing on it. Not the tips. Seems good, but do I really want that? That's the subjective question. If you're going to grow your audience, you got to have some kind of system. And I think a lot of people, when they start out, they think, oh, I'm going to when we're doing what we're doing, are we doing it for what reason? I like the idea of having, people that I'm feeling connections with it, because I really am feeling connections with those of us that are engaging together here and talking and communicating. And I really like that people are saying hi to each other because of recognition. I think that's a lot of fun. But I mean, you see some successful things like Dee Dee, I think, is incredibly successful in that while she has this amount of people watching her streams, my goodness, are they all getting along and encouraging each other and supporting each other and acknowledging each other. And I think that objectively that's a fine goal. That to me sounds like a fine place to want to be, because when you've got so many bazonking people that you don't know who anybody is, and you get this sort of platitudinous response. Well, I'm going to talk about cheese today. Everybody likes cheese, and then you got 15 people. Cheese is the best. And normally you're talking about automotive parts, but there's this sort of sense of acolytes to that. That's kind of hollow, right? Gary says, I enjoy streaming just as a digital equivalent of I'll be working at the coffee shop. Drop by if you want. That's my whole platform here. That I completely agree with that. That's really, I'm here at 2:00 to do these one pages. I like the idea of people throwing suggestions at me and challenging me to do something. But it really is a case of, hey, I'm doing a thing. Let's all hang out. If you guys want to hang out, here's some hangout time. Might not be a winning approach to growing an audience. I don't know that it is, but it is something that I'm, again, like I said, I'm feeling a really nice sense of connection with people this way. And so that I'm glad that you enjoy that as well, Gary. So it's nice to see regular people that we're all engaging with each other, like Phil. And if Philip's doing something, I'll check it out. If Gary's doing something, I'll check it out. That sense of community, that sense of social interaction helps a lot of us that are working in our own studio spaces at home. And it helps a lot of us encourage and challenge each other on what projects that we're working on and what endeavors that we're going through in order to facilitate our own individual growth. But do I want to do catechistic phrases I hear kids outside, to do little catechistic phrases and trending? Like, that's why I put the thing, challenge yourself, trending, LOL, because I always feel like challenge yourself like this videos are really boring. They're usually people saying you're looking for a 30-second soundbite of information that might be of help to you, but you have so much of that just hollow discourse that isn't actually, it's superficial, I think, is what I'm getting to. And I like the idea of trying to stay away from that superficiality. If some of these different things that I'm trying out in my journey of creative exploration is a benefit for other people watching it, or I've had a couple of statements over time about, just because of the tone of my voice is kind of like an ASMR thing in the background for them, and that lulling baritone sound that helps them while they're working. It's just somebody talking about things, and then occasionally they'll hear an interesting sentence that they're, oh, I never thought about that, and they'll just keep doing whatever they're doing. If that works for people, that's fine too. But the whole wah wah sounds, or hey everybody, canned laughter, it's me again, I'm cool and hip. I'm not that guy. I'm never going to be that guy. I don't think I'll ever have those guys' numbers, because I don't want to be that guy. Now I got people that I know and that others that watch this that know, and they have things where, like, hey, have you considered about this? And they'll have talks where they're actually giving information, and they're actually saying, here's some things to consider when you're going about in this place, or you're going about in this journey. I think that works for them, because they have some substance there, as opposed to just being, just everybody doing videos about their favorite TV show. I've drawn a picture of my favorite TV show. Is at least drawing a picture. So maybe I'm standing on a platform there. Sorry, Just 1 second. Like maybe I'm standing. An excuse to eat a cookie. I don't know. Maybe I'm standing on some kind of platform with that or not, but because I wouldn't want to pull out anybody that I know that's doing their stuff. But artists are, if you can give information that helps others, here's 5 things to consider when you're starting this journey or whatever else. Those sites have validity. But if it's just, let me tell you about my artistic journey, it's never going to be the same as everybody else's. So, yeah, Gary, if you've got that video that you watched, they'll share it with everybody. There might be something in there that does help somebody find additional comfort for themselves in how they're going about what they're doing. But I don't think anybody wants to be, hey, kids, you know, with the funny nose. And that's the screenshot right there, folks. Jim says we're pretty isolated. It's nice to have a friendly hangout like this. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Jim. It's the same for me. This comic might end up being my new profile pic. Sure thing. You're fully allowed to use it. Sumerian Gary, Sugarian, yeah, Sugarian, yeah. There you go. Oh, Philip says he wants to be that guy. Hey, kids, you know, you got to make sure you got the makeup on, though, Philip. Uh-oh, looks like in yesterday's video, I did a zonko. Yeah. Maybe I should do some more of those. Maybe that would be the answer. Hold on a second. I don't know if that helps any. Yeah, I clearly don't have the fancy studio lighting. Hey, so I'm just here and with my team of 12 people doing my thing. Nope, not me. I have a cat that pesters me while I'm trying to work. But like Jim said, but that isolation is, I think, one of the largest challenges that keeps people from getting their stuff done, because they're feeling a dislocation from others, right? You're because you're feeling isolated in your process, and because you're feeling like, nobody else is doing the same thing. What's the point of doing this? Is anybody even going to like this? Because you're trapped in your own head. You're not having any discourse or in engagements with others. Neither should you have an echo chamber, though. This is referring to something I said a few minutes ago. Echo chambers are pointless, absolutely pointless, because you're never going to get any kind of feedback with validity to it. I mean, the problem with a lot of celebrities and people that get to a certain point in influence is that nobody really is going to either A, have the facility, or B, have the deliberacy to say, you're out of your mind right now, or you've really acted untoward to another person. You slapped somebody on the Academy Awards. You're done. Whatever they need to hear to get them back to their process, their creative journey, get away from their headspace, right? Philip says that he used to really enjoy making YouTube videos. I don't think I want to be quite that silly, but I like to make something entertaining. Well, I think it is entertaining in authenticity. I think that there's definitely something said to that. I used to do more edited, polished vids, and while I do like the end result, I didn't like the time that went into it, which could have been spent actually writing or drawing or writing. Sorry, I jump around in sentences in my head, clearly. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to figure out things like the text above my head right now. Here's the episode number, in case there's a certain thing you saw that you wanted to figure out. Or here's the page that I did the last time. So if you look at a video and you see that picture, that's the one he did the day before. Or the text that's up above about what the concept idea is of the page that I'm working on. Those 3 little tidbits that's me getting more refined, but I can't see myself having 2 or 3 people in the space with me, so and so talking on the thing, and so many. if there's people over time that want to help out with some of that communication and interaction with people, that lets me just draw and go, that we can do that for each other on each other's streaming, that'd be fine. But I stream 5 days a week. Whose time am I going to steal that much? That's not fair. They should be doing something. I want others to be doing something too. So there's the challenge, right? The creative part, I think, is the most important, and the authenticity of that is the most important. You can be a goofball, because clearly I'm the most serious person on the planet, but you can be silly and fun and have enjoying, entertaining times, but don't forget while you're there, maybe. And I don't think Philip, I'm not suggesting he would. I think that those people that spend all of their time on the marketing aspect of it for these, I'm this guy and here's what I do and I know better than you and let me look at your stuff and tell you what's wrong about it. That's not helping. That's for yourself without, appreciating what others are doing. Philip says he agrees with Gary. I just started learning to make tighter videos with less editing, titles, etc. before you stopped. Yeah, but how much time did it take to do those videos? And if that takes away from your creativity, I'm really excited. I'm going to say something aside. Everybody else close your ears. I'm really excited about the amount of stuff Philip has been putting out lately. I'm going to say that plain and simple for you, Philip. I'm really happy about that. I'm really excited about it. Last year stunk. This year's rocking. You got, you've done all kinds of cool things lately. And I'm really enjoying seeing more and more of that. And if it helps for you to engage in whatever way you're engaging, or to be able to have yourself set up in such a way, I'm super keen, super happy to see it, because that's what I'm looking for from what other people's output is their output. I'm excited to see their journey. So I tend not to be one who subscribes to the guy who's got 86,000 followers and it's all flashy nonsense. Or there's one guy I like. I'm not going to name his name, but he's a bit of an idiot. And I like him because of that fact that he has that degree of ridiculousness. It's kind of like when you've eaten, been really good in behaving yourself and eating properly and doing all the things you should be. But today I want to have a cookie, just because I'm allowed myself a cookie. And you'll watch a video of this person who's an absolute goon, just in the sense that they're over the top and they're ridiculously silly, and they're holding a microphone while they're talking the whole time. Well, he doesn't hold a microphone, but he holds something, and that he talks into, and talks in a ridiculous way to the people that are viewing his stuff, and is a bit of a self-inflated kind of a character. That's occasionally fun. That's occasionally funny, and I look at it like a comedy, like somebody doing a little bit stand-up routine. But I wouldn't watch that on a regular basis, and I wouldn't want to be that guy. And if I ever start leaning into being that guy, tell me to pull back. Corbin, enough. My cat, he's literally sitting beside me, just meowing at me into the microphone. And he's got food, so I don't know. He's a jerk. But that's kind of my take on some of those things. And so if I really appreciate the opportunity to interact and engage with others here in that way. And, but yeah, that output's the important part to me. Okay, so just to roll through this one more time, because I don't want to just be that guy sitting here eating the cookie. Where did I put the paper? There it is. So the intention is, I've got Guy with a Ruler, first panel. I've established that. I'm going to I'm going to have to go and pick up another one of these suckers, or to figure out how to just put that in Photoshop and have the same kind of, one of the lovely things about this stuff is that gold, that reflective aspect to it. I don't know if I could get that in Photoshop. So, Philip says, I just started learning. Hold on. The next one. There's a new one here. I only want to post 1 or 2 vids a week and still stay artistically creative, but incorporate that creative work into videos. Yeah, that's a suggestion that Dee Dee just gave out this week for anybody that was here in that stream. It's take the videos, take the things that you've done, take the physical working on something, you can edit it as shorts. And so I'm going to be looking into how to do that this weekend, in order to do to hit some shorts out, those quick snippets for people with the attention span of 15 seconds. But that's about the extent of, if I can figure out how to do that in a really quick way, good. If it's going to be a laborious process that keeps me away from the actual thing of interest, which is writing and drawing, I'll drop it really fast. But yeah, your vids are good, but your drawings are great. That's even more exciting for me, Philip. But the videos are great. Yeah. Okay, so just go through this page because I don't want to, get myself distracted from all my jibber jabber. So the idea is, by establishing our principal character, I got to draw his thumb. By establishing our principal with his ruler, and he's very proud to have it. Everybody that in the structure of the suggestion is an ancient Sumerian showing off his newfangled, excellent word, bronze ruler, and being called a cheater by a crowd of Sumerian artists. So here we are, which is Gary. Gary came up with a name for this character. Sugerian, which I'm writing down. Sugerian is showing off his bronze ruler, and so all the other characters that are going to be in this are going to be very much based on statues of Sumerian culture. So there'll be, I think they're sphinxes. I think they are, with the wings and all, but they all have the Sumerian guy heads, which is great. And other magical creatures and characters from statues are going to be the people judging him, and everyone, apparently, according to Jim Luan, everybody should have the face of Gary. I'll see how I do on that part. But yeah, it's a fun. And then of course I want to have a talk. I want to frame this, because I always like to have a framing structure to things. I want to have this as a talk by some kind of archaeology professor that's presenting this at a symposium. And of course, because that's the sort of stuff I like to play in the background as I'm working in the studio here while not streaming, is that I tend to like a lot of those explorations into the past. And I watched a really interesting one on Göbekli Tepe the other day, of finding, they've been finding different foodstuffs and fragments that are clearly showing that there was a far more sophisticated layer of food sharing of the people that built Göbekli Tepe, which is, this weird stuff I'm interested in. So but then of course, in every one of these symposium lectures, things don't work. The clicker isn't working, or slides are in wrong order, or something that always happens because of human fallibility. So I want to try to figure out how to incorporate one of those elements into that framing structure idea of having this presented as as historical fact, a contextual historical fact. Corbin is just climbing up my leg. This is ridiculous. Sponsored by, by that, and with that preamble, excuse me, is there anything that people would like me to be doing more of? Is there anything that would be of benefit for people and how I'm going about what I am doing? Is there any suggestions or ideas that people would like to see in the process here? Excuse me. Because I sure don't mind feedback. Oh no. I sure don't mind feedback and what silliness I'm going about doing. So feel free to throw that at me. Yeah, but you don't eat cookies while you're drawing, Chris. You should get that Beatus under control, pal. Make sure you try using less rulers. That's not what a real artist does. I use rulers seldomly. I tend to left freehand a lot of lines, and it shows. So I'm trying to make a point out of having nice clean lines on this one because it is about a ruler. And Sumerian in the presentation of the ruler to Sumerian society. You know, everybody knows Sumerian. So just that, putting that framing structure on this panel and setting that tone for how this page is going to go and how these elements, these visual elements are going to go together. So it's kind of fun. But yeah, if people have input into things that they would like to see me do a little more of, I try to do that sort of synopsis of, hey, here's what we structured out yesterday. Here's what the originals look like from the previous day's pages, and or the process of the previous day's page, and here's the result. And I tend to start these videos with that in order that people can see where that process has come from. Like today's, the first panel that I've drawn of Sugerian is based on, drumroll please, a fantastic supplied image of Gary Hodges just chilling in a hotel room like a villain. Huh? There you go, Gary. That's for the ages. That's your new image that represents yourself. Actually, Gary has a really funny one of himself in a head that he made, so which I like more. I'm going to clean out some of these lines. You don't need the pencil line if you've got the ink line. So in those places like around the exterior of the panel, I'll take those out. But I don't want to interfere with the internal lines. So I really love Sugerian, by the way. It's a great name for the character. Because I couldn't think of a name, so that's even better. I mean, you would think of a name at the time. I'll do it on the day. I do it on the day is one of my favorite jokes I say to myself, because when you give people, the teachers give their students assignments, or you're working on a project with people and you're like, we need this by this. One of my favorite things to ever hear people say is, oh, well, don't worry, I'll have it on the day. It never applies for me doing these one-page comics, because I have it, it is the day. It's always the day, right? Because I set this up to, and by doing these is sort of an exercise for myself for the time that I'm doing the stream, and maybe another hour and a half in the evening or the following morning. That's the time I kind of give myself to do each of these pages. And so, there is no such thing as I'll do it on the day, because it is always the day. So that's my own ridiculous joke I make for myself, is when the stream's over and I've only got X amount of it done, I'm like, I got to get the rest of this finished. Don't worry, I'll do it on the day. Yeah, this thing's kaput. So I'm going to have to go and pick up a couple more. Well, that changes up my plans a little bit. Okay, well, it's we're almost at 2 hours. I do try to cap myself for time so that I'm not sitting here in a video eating cookie at the camera. So, but today, unfortunately, because of this hydro outage at the start of the day, I'm doing that. So I apologize. And it being the day of the Valentines, I hope that everybody has, good time with themselves and good times with people they care about, or ability to have conversation with others. Don't get too tied up in all this junk. It's a corporate holiday made by flower companies and gift card companies, so greeting card companies. So don't get too taken up in this. But, just because whatever situation people are in, it doesn't mean a lick of difference about how your reality is, because you didn't go and engage in something that's entirely covered in pink and red heart-shaped things. That's never what counts. What counts is you're having a happy time. Maybe you have a cat. The best day. Oh, here we go. This is maybe one of my favorite responses. Also, there's an Anne Ryan joke kicking around on social media about roses are red, violet is blue. Don't get caught up in this, you self-loathing parasite. Something like that. It's like the worst poem, but I really found it funny when I saw it earlier. The best day is the day after Valentine's, and the reason for that is cheap chocolate. Cheap chocolate is on sale. I'm going to make a note of that for Lori. I wasn't able to get you anything today, but don't worry, I'll get you tons of it on sale tomorrow. Yeah, that'll be my plan. I advise that for everybody under the sun, whether you're buying all that cheap chocolate for yourself or you're buying that cheap chocolate for your partner. I watched a friend last night whose partner described to him that his partner in the relationship really loves Valentine's Day. And it's a very gothy and dark type of a guy who expresses to his partner that he loves Valentine's Day. So that partner had to run out last night and doll it up for Valentine's because it's a new relationship and the other partners, anyways. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up. Just have a good day. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm going to have this thing put together for tomorrow. I got to go and get a couple of these in order to do this page up the way I want to do it in a traditional way. But you can see from the start of where things are going to go. And I hope to have some fun with this so that Gary can use it as his face shot from now on for all of his social media. Himself as a Sumerian king. So thanks for the opportunity to do this. Again, as I'm always telling everybody, if you've got a one-page comic that you can round out in a couple of sentences, feel free to put it in the comments. I got a couple things still written down to step into to doing. But if anybody has any that they want to put in the comments or in the chat while we're doing the video, or in the video comments afterwards, please feel free to do so. If you want to send it, put it on any of the other social stuff, the Instagram or the Facebook, that's good too. That's about it. That's the whole gist of it today. But thanks very much for those that tuned in when I was late. And I'll see you tomorrow. Keep creating in the meantime. I'm really excited to see the things that you're doing. And if people feel like putting what times that they're going to be doing social streaming on in the chat or in the comments, I'm completely open to that too. It's not like it's random people coming in here and just promoting themselves. No, this is our community. This is our engagement. So if you've got stuff coming up, put it in our chat, put it in our comments, because we're all friends here. Let's all support each other in whatever way we can. In the meantime, I'm going to head out. I'll see you tomorrow at 2:00. Oh, thanks very much, Philip. Cheers. I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Keep creating. Bye for now.